The Department of Government Efficiency, the head of that organization, Elon Musk, made his official departure from this temporary government position today. And in a joint press conference, President Trump thanked Musk and also highlighted some of the bloated government spending that DOGE has uncovered. Well, Musk also remarked that his departure is not the end of DOGE, but only the beginning. So, what's next for DOGE? That's a big question. And what can Congress do to make the most of the findings that Musk and the DOGE community have found out? Well, here to discuss all of this and more is Congressman Robert Aderholt. He serves as a member of the House Committee on Appropriations, and he represents the 4th Congressional District of the great state of Alabama. Congressman Aderholt, always great to see you, my friend. Welcome back to Washington Watch.
Well, Jody, good to see you, and it's always good to be on with a fellow colleague that I had the privilege to serve with for many years in the House. So good to see you again, and I'm glad you're doing well.
Well, thank you so much, and likewise. All right, let's look at this DOGE and the last day for Musk as he departs. How would you characterize, just from your perspective, his time in government?
Oh, it has resonated like probably no other thing that I've seen in recent history when it comes to cutting government spending. Matter of fact, I was just meeting with a constituent just before I got on the call here with you, and he was discussing the DOGE issue and how that is resonating. He is looking at possibly running for a statewide office in Alabama. He says he's going around to different organizations and Republican clubs across the state. And every time he talks about the DOGE issue and trying to apply that on the state level, that he gets terrific response. So this is something that really resonates. I think a lot of people feel like there's a lot of government waste. And, Congress, when we allocate the money, we intend the money to be spent in a prudent and wise way, but it not always is. DOGE is coming in there and looking at it and saying, this money is going to waste. We need to get this money back. And that's exactly what is going to happen probably next week when we see a rescission package that the White House is going to send to Congress. And at that point, we will be taking a look at it, and could be as much as my understanding, between $9 and $10 trillion that could be clawed back that Congress has appropriated. That is really just government waste. This Congress will have about 45 days to deal with this. But the unique thing about this is that it will be able to be passed by majority vote, not only in the House, which is always the case, but it will be able to be passed in the Senate by majority vote as well, and does not have to go through the 60 vote threshold. So I think this is very promising to get a lot, if not all of the cuts, a sizable amount of this, almost $10 billion that the DOGE organization or the DOGE office has found under the leadership of Elon Musk.
Well, it really is amazing, and it's encouraging what you said even about the individual you spoke to moments ago. We are seeing this reflected in states all over the place now are saying if there's that much waste in the federal government, there's probably a ton of waste in the state governments as well. And I'm encouraged to hear that conversation that you just described. All right, so this rescission package that you just mentioned that's coming from the White House, and because it's coming from the White House, it will not require the 60 vote threshold in the Senate. I think that's an excellent point you bring out. But what do we know about the vote next week on the House floor and the Senate, I suppose, as it goes from there? Do you expect there to be problems with this, or is this going to fly through pretty easily?
Well, of course, the Democrats will oppose it. They have a disdain for Elon Musk. They have got a disdain for DOGE in general. And so there will be obstacles. But as you know from serving in the House, when you're in the majority, you have the prerogative to move forward on legislation. The Speaker can bring that up. And so I don't know the timeline. I know that it's the package, my understanding, will be sent to Congress next week. And I don't know the timeline as when the vote will be. And I doubt if it'll be next week because I think we'll have to have a chance to look at the package. And obviously we need to do that because you want to make sure that everything is appropriate and make sure that something was not overlooked. And Elon Musk himself, he said and he readily admitted that there would be mistakes made because when you're dealing with $10 billion in cuts, that's a lot of money, and you want to make sure that some legitimate individuals are not going to be their Social Security taken away or some kind of program that they wouldn't be entitled to. But this is going to be mainly involving discretionary. This is not going to be entitlement funding. This will be discretionary funding. But there's any legitimate program out there that should be funded. Congress needs to look at it and correct that. But at the same time, it seems to me that the examples that I've seen coming from Elon Musk and from the DOGE or the DOGE office, that they're very legitimate and they're very real wasteful spending that needs to be dealt with. And that's why I think over the next 2 or 3 weeks, that we will have a vote in the House. And again, 45 days is I think the last I understand will be the amount of time that we have to deal with this. So we've got to act fast.
So I want to get to the tariffs. But real quickly, one last question on this: $9 or $10 billion is a lot of money to begin this rescission package. But I'm hearing some talk that there could be future additional rescissions. Are you hearing anything about that? Could that take place?
Well, okay. I think there absolutely will be, as this DOGE office is not closing, to my understanding. Elon Musk is stepping down in his role, but DOGE will continue on. They'll continue looking for this, so there'll be other opportunities after this. So this won't be a one and done thing.
Excellent. All right, real quickly, we've just got a couple of minutes left, Congressman Aderholt, but the legal battles over Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariffs. This tariff battle just continues to make news. He and the White House have labeled these legal efforts against his tariffs as blockades and political stunts. What's your thoughts on all of this? Do you agree with that characterization at all?
Now, obviously there is the president wants to rebalance, and I've always been one that have not readily supported past presidents when they've pulled these trade agreements out of a hat and give us a bad deal. I've always been in favor of a fair trade deal, and thankfully, President Trump is wanting to be someone that deals with fair trade, free trade, but fair trade. And it's not fair when our goods that we send abroad have a tremendous amount of tariff, and then others can bring things into this country and try to sell it, and there's no tariff. So the president's simply trying to rebalance. And of course, obviously, a lot of these trade deals were made under past presidents, but here the president is looking at a 1977 law that allows him, under certain circumstances, to do away with the agreement as they were made and to put tariffs on certain countries. And that's exactly what he's doing. So I'm very encouraged that at the end of the day, the Supreme Court will side with him because it says in a national emergency that he can do this. Now, obviously, right, when you have fentanyl coming across the borders like you have, it is a national emergency.
Absolutely. Congressman Robert Aderholt of Alabama, always great to see you, my friend. Thanks for all the great work you're doing, and thanks for joining us today on Washington Watch.
Thanks, Jody. Good to be with you.